So shall we continue, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners and everyone. We are ready to continue. The usher has gone to get the witness. Thanks. Good afternoon, Madam.
Madam.
I hope you had a good break.
Yes.
Okay. Please feel free and relax as we continue this conversation that we were having. I just want to give you a brief recap just to remind you about the salient points we had covered in your last session. You started telling us about how your husband was arrested following a problem that he had with the APRC party. When he actually stumbled upon a meeting they had and interrupted it. Thereupon, he was actually threatened with arrest and subsequently suspended from his job. And that threat was followed up by an actual arrest. Following an individual who came to search for him at the house and 2 teams of people. Although you were unable to identify them at first, you later came to the conclusion that they were actually from the NIA. And you actually told us that you believe that he was arrested by the NIA and he was also in their custody. So we will continue from that point. Okay. Can you tell us if you were to see some of these men who came to your house, the first strange visitor that you had?
For Isafononye, Nimolu near Jacotaka Febe Sutela Cardamuta Umola, Mem follow not in Carology.
The first team as well as the second team. Can you
at Nin Carla follow cola, Kafu follow menata Anokan and Meniamuta and in Kafulanja menata labanalaji?
Would you be in a position to identify them if you saw them now?
Misalika ma BBB near Uluje, Febe Sutenola Leban.
I wouldn't be able to recognize them.
Thank you very much for that. And just to tie up the loose ends, would it be correct to say that this first strange visitor that had come to you in the morning and was claiming to be somebody that your husband had business with,
the
second team that had come to actually arrest him in your presence, and the team that followed after he was arrested, who came and stormed your house and started searching for him, would it be correct to conclude that they were all from the NIA?
Yes, I believe that all of them came from the NIA.
And after your husband's brother, Wandifa Kanyi, was arrested and then subsequently released from the NIA in Banjul, what happened next?
Sa imbiri na taike madoma muta Wandifa Kanyi fo inata tanyola fo banyuno fo ukola inata abula muna natake.
After Wandifa was released, he got home. All of us then asked him, we asked him, when you were arrested, did you get to see Kanyiba? He said, no, I couldn't see him. He said to us, but I asked for him. But they answered me by telling me that that was not my business.
And of course, you've already told us that your husband's arrest was about 3 days before the 2006 presidential elections.
Yenyim foko eke mala muto we atra tilisabele be molning President Carter fayote manu.
You've also told us that he was a staunch UDP supporter and very influential within the community.
Yenyim foko UDP la mo bamandi bale muati ando anata kama soto fanang jamaa mulu kono je.
Do you know if these facts had anything to do with his arrest and disappearance, considering the circumstances around that time and that elections were coming up?
Fodo isobita ko wolle famu daliloti munana inata muta anin banko be tembo mentonu wotumo.
Yes.
Can you tell us what conclusions you came to or what the link was in your view?
Sai itela jeroto ila miroto inata kolu je nyadi le hanfana tala bang nyameng anin kolu chokita nyola nyameng ita fangla jeroto yo je nyadi le.
I see that if they are doing this thing, since he was a staunch supporter of the party, and Yaya Jammeh, he could do anything to keep himself in government. Because this was someone that kills people just for being in power. So if you see someone who has the potential of disrupting or disturbing your party, you will try all means possible to get that person into trouble.
And do you know what kind of message they were trying to send by arresting and making your husband disappear?
Itela miroto woto itela be mun kule itandi kam molule be mun kibarle nyori kam molu kam wonya birinka ye ke mutaka yemandi.
I believe this is to frighten the people who are supporting the UDP. Because if you are in the same organization with somebody, and you come to notice that he has gotten this sort of problem, that doesn't take the organization forward. It dismantles it and brings it down. This is the way I perceive things.
And what kind of effect did his arrest have within your community and within the UDP party?
Allah tundo la je ala muto nata mune sababu mol la karola anim patio la karola.
It disturbed the party there. Because the party was very powerful there. But when he got this problem, it was such that after the elections, when the parliamentary elections came, and there were candidates from both the UDP and the APRC, when they were nominating their candidates, my colleague used to represent the UDP.
The husband's colleague.
Or the husband's colleague used to represent the UDP. In fact, the party, that person's contestation of the election even wasn't the problem. Because he was contesting against Jung Conte. They disturbed them a lot in the party during that election. But if not for that, Jung would have lost his seat. That was the problem that developed up to this stage.
And of course, you're referring to June Conte, who he had an issue with during the meeting the day before he was arrested.
Muntabe June Conte memma wolem animme wo diamo ke wo bendulato janni ba mutala.
Yes, I'm referring to him.
Yes.
After the presidential elections, he removed Jung and they put another candidate. But he stood up with we stood against that same candidate also. But at the time, he was arrested. And wherever they went for campaigning, they used to tell them, you saw what they did to Kanyiba. And anyone who is still following the UDP, the same fate would follow.
Did they manage to intimidate UDP supporters because of what happened to your husband?
Silang wala nata kendi bang ye UDP no lang kolu silandi ke kijote ko ye menke ke mala.
That scared a lot of people.
Did it have any effect on the 2006 presidential elections in terms of votes?
Oh, wanata kule sabu patio nyimaje 2006 karte fayola karola karte kesoto.
Yes. Because what they usually got, they did not get.
And was that because people were afraid to vote for the UDP?
Yes.
And can you tell us what was your situation at the time that your husband was being arrested? Were you in any sort of predicament or physically? In what condition were you?
Ite fango ebe tembele jumal to ila hadama ila moya anila jato ebe nyadi le utumo.
My things were serious. I was conceived, 3 months pregnant. And my husband was arrested. And we all know what happens and how hard it is to be pregnant. And if another pain or hardship is to be added onto that, if you are not helped by God, you could even die. Or something will happen to the child.
And can you tell us what kind of follow-up you were able to do under your condition as to the arrest and disappearance of your husband?
Sayo ite be tembeda mento nya ibe harjering inate ke muta ya yemandi ite nata bula kol no ma nyadile the way I did the follow-up
after the elections. My father went to Usainu Dabo so that they could seek out ways of taking care of the issue. Because since he was arrested initially, even his mother and father, who were in Jara, we didn't send a messenger to them. Because we all took it that since it was election time, we thought that they did not just want him to vote. But since it was getting to this stage, we didn't think that again. When the elections happened, and we did not see him, and we didn't hear anything regarding any news about him, that was when my father went to Usainu. They sat down and discussed the issue. And they said to him, I have also another supporter, Rambo Jata, that he too has been arrested. He said, we will look at the issue and take it to court.
Natata court.
Then they went to court.
Te bukata.
I normally did not go.
Utumonta mankende.
At the time I was sick.
Tani na bimfama lekake.
All the going and coming was done by my father.
How long after his arrest was the matter taken to court?
Wati jelleta biriya muta fo janning iba ko sambala kitola.
Wala lokum fula nyaw kono le samba court.
It was in the second week that the matter was taken to court.
And what was the outcome of the case at the court?
Silam birin kito keta mune natake akola natake muneti.
Birita da kiti bunde.
When they went to court,
Ingine fo ko mba ko jibele.
they told them that they will look into the matter.
Nata lungo fo muruntaji.
They gave them a day on which to return.
Lo murungo kono je.
But when they returned,
Nata fo ko lunkare.
then they gave them a particular date
Aliena na mba sambala nan kiti bunde.
that they should report on that day, and on that day they will bring him in person to the court.
Nata taji.
Then they went there.
Yoyo nata kiti kundu.
The judge passed judgment
Ko moma nyana mom dala fo montro wat mo wanni fe.
and said that nobody should keep anyone in detention until after 20
Man kuma famari.
20 hours, 20-something hours,
Man kuma famari la court.
and you've said nothing about that individual,
Hotel fero kali ebula.
then do something and release them.
Rinada fo
At the end of the day, was he produced, Kanyi Trrc?
Tungo foi nata fintindi le prumole ajaba.
ani ma finti.
No, they did not produce him.
And what happened after that?
Muna natake ukola.
Nata fo soma mai fati bitale.
Then they told them, tomorrow my party will go.
Bita NIA.
He will go to the NIA
Be Kanyi banyol bulala.
and they will release Kanyiba and others.
Which Maifati are you referring to?
Be my fati jumalema.
Mai fati menke da interior minister.
My party, who was
Yeah,
once
Adam
minister of Interior,
Kabiri masa kunda falente.
when there was a change of government.
And what particular profession does he belong to?
Ate dun kamundu ku fason neke wo.
Lawyer la ma falente.
He's a lawyer too.
And what happened after that?
Muna natake ubekola.
Osa mo nara si foti lo boyta.
The next day, we sat and waited until sunset,
Nga call ke wat wat.
and each time we made a call,
Ka fonye kombe wole jibe kante.
they will tell us that we are looking for them like this,
Ore mampare follow.
but we are not yet ready.
Foti lo boyta.
Until the census,
Meji.
we did not see them.
At any point during the case or after, did the NIA ever acknowledge that they had Kanyi Trrc in their possession,
So
in their custody rather?
bo ko be kono kabra flote men fo enata e ketanya men fo carte fayda. Fo wati son tale television ta ko tonya Kanyi ba Kanyi abenna mutole kono.
A lundol sotota.
Yes, there was a day
Ita je ka fo en tolle amota.
when they went there and they told them that he's in our custody.
Ba ni tata je wato do.
But sometimes when they go there,
Ka fo ko amantaran tolbul.
they will tell them that he's not with us.
Tarte fayin kanten.
And they were throwing them around like that.
And who in particular was making these statements to say that he was in their custody, he wasn't in their custody?
Juma nyolle be okumo foka onya tumodo lu safa bentelle bulu tumodo lu safa hanin atentel bulu.
Sakunda la lawyer.
The government lawyer.
And of course, you knew that was not true because he was arrested in your presence and taken away by the NIA officers.
Andu ite alon ko manke to nyati katu ya muta de lumme akete fango nyala le andu biri ya muta itelle nata ya samba.
Ah.
Yes.
So subsequently, did you hear anything else about your husband's case? Did anyone make any statement pertaining to his issue?
So obe kola fo nata kuma mwele ike mala koto bang wala kuma fo kol tata nyamin atela kol belaring nyamen nungo tumo.
Anata kuma moye.
Yes, I got to hear something.
And before that,
Ya niwo
you had told us that after your husband's arrest, you were actually pregnant. Did you give birth? Was it before or after the birth that you heard this statement?
ibe nyimfalo tumo ko wotumo ibe harjerin ne wato me be ke mamutala. Fudu obe kola inata jidile bang idingo inata wulule.
Anata wulu.
Yes, I gave birth.
Was that before or after the statement was made?
Wo ya tara nyim kuma kan fota bang fo jannin kuma kan be fala lo jidita.
Jannembe wulu la nyin kuma kan fota.
These statements were made before I gave birth.
Okay. Carry on and tell us what they were and who made them.
Tenten ya fo jumalo yo kumolu fo ani mun kuma kanulem.
What kind of statements?
Did you hear on TV, for example, if the authorities made any kind of statement about your husband's disappearance?
Ko misal kama isa fo kako kibarol di television to wala bunda do la kafo ike ma yeman tanyamin.
Yes, after that, one day as I was watching television, Yaya Jammeh was speaking, and in his speech he said that he said the people of Jaras Kanyi Kanyi and the Chief Mane. I used to hear from people saying that I am the one that arrested them. But I have not arrested them. He said now people's relatives embark on the backway journey, and if they die there, they will say that they have been arrested by Yaya Jammeh. He said, I have not arrested them and I know nothing about their issue.
So he was insinuating that your husband rather went through the back way and you were accusing him of having him in his custody.
Amunta ate Yaya Jammeh benyine itakam mola kwa sekeno itake mata atakoma silo la back way. Bitung atebe wala dundi kam mol tonu andu ibate to kuyakan kwa tele yemuta.
Yes.
And did your husband go through the back way?
We kedun tata back way laba.
My husband did not embark on the back way because when he was being arrested, it happened in my presence.
And did you believe what Yaya Jammeh was saying?
Saying it is not la Yaya Jammeh la ukumolu laba. Inatala Yaya Jammeh la ukumolu laba.
No, I did not believe his statement.
Do you know why he made that particular statement? Why would he say something like that?
Man, for ila miro to muna na abe kuma fason lufola muna bo kendila. I saw to it that he was just trying to clear himself up because people were saying things about him.
And as far as you were concerned, was he actually cleared from that case?
Did
you suspect that he had any involvement in your husband's matter?
Yes, I am suspicious that he has a hand in it.
And can you tell us why you came to that conclusion?
The reason why I am suspicious of him, because I have seen similar scenarios that happen. And if this one should happen in my very presence, and it is not done in a peaceful manner, it happened in times of great difficulty, to seize my husband under my nose just like that and take him away forcefully, it's very painful. That is why I was suspicious of the whole matter.
And do you know if there's any connection between the NIA and Yaya Jammeh?
Yes.
Please tell us.
There's a connection because the NIA, in the end, the manner in which they were in this country, many people were there who, when they disappeared, there are people who will say that they were being picked up from their homes by the NIA. So and so had a problem, he was picked up by the NIA and he has disappeared. That was what made me suspicious of the issue.
Do you know the boss of NIA? Do you know who they reported to or who they got orders from?
For NIA ulanya tonko ya lonne ban wala ya lonne itilka idan ku menna memmu be kuntonkoti.
What time?
At the time, you mean?
Yes, please.
Ha wato.
That has escaped me.
Okay. if I can tell you that the NIA reported directly to the office of the president, they were under Yaya Jammeh.
Nina foko nyine be keri no tumo NIA ulube Yaya Jammeh le koto katu ke danku ate fongo kungolela ibe danku ibala office le koto.
So he supervised their work and he was their boss.
Ateleka ya marolu dila anu atele muila kunto nkoti fana.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? Is that something you know?
Yes, because he was the one that passed the others. And whatever he told them, that's what they did. All the bad deeds that happened in this country, he was the one who was giving the order. Because he had the power. And whatever he told the people that worked under him, that was what they did. And they used to listen to him as well. And when he assigns them anything to do, no matter how difficult it was, they made sure that they did it. They never considered the fact that it's a painful thing to do. All they are concerned about is making Yaya Jammeh happy, and therefore they do whatever they are asked to do. He put them to do so many bad things. Because at the time that my husband disappeared, when I asked other people about his affairs, they will tell me it's very possible that Yaya Jammeh is aware of this. That is not aware of it, but I perceive that that was not possible. Someone who was in charge of the country. If such bad deeds are happening in your country, you cannot claim not to be aware of them. And if you see that these things are happening and people are quiet, you will know that you yourself, you have a hand in it.
And would you happen to know whether Yaya Jammeh himself personally had an interest in your husband's disappearance?
Yes.
Can you tell us what interests you think he had or you believe he had?
I was there, and one day, one of Kanyiba's uncles who lived in Faraba is now late. After the incident happened, it worried him a lot because before he used to come to the house. One day, he came there and said to me that he had gone to Jung. But I told him this, that this man that you have put into trouble, do you not know that he is my son? Jung said to him, I am aware, but I did not do it out of my will. But he said to him, if you see that I am doing it, there is one man who had employed Kanyiba at CCF. He was his boss. They call him Farmer Barre. That he was the one that went to his house and told him that if you did not report Kanyi, I will report you. And that was what got him into this. That was what he told him.
But in terms of the office of the president having an interest, why would Yaya Jammeh, as head of state of this country, formally pick out of everybody your husband to actually be a target or to target? Why would he do something like that? If you don't know, let us know.
Yaya Jammeh nyimbanko kunton koti na tlom nyaton koti. So mune bina sababu la hanfo ate bina nyalo la iteke makang puru ka nyinyon ku façon tamande ala koto ka nyalo kan ka bulo chodi ala drong itela miroto mune yo sabu ni malom fana safo
ngaje ko ala lo nyale wote.
Well, I think it is the way he is perceived in the community.
Okay.
I don't believe they heard that. What did you say?
Ako amamo yemunefo.
Kungaje ko ala lo nyale woti pati yokono.
That was the stance, his stance within the party.
And you have already told us that he was a threat to the APRC party, and Yaya Jammeh was the head of that APRC party. Is that not correct?
Yenyum foko amunta ate APRC party o isilan talale alonya adu Yaya Jammeh mo APRC party o nyaton kote fondi.
Yes.
Do you believe that Yaya Jammeh had an interest in staying in power at that point?
Andu Yaya Jammeh leftale pura continue nyaton kaya la wotembo.
Yes.
Do you know what he would do to make sure that he stayed in power?
Yalo na yabe muni kule kela danko dorong atetu sembo to atetu nyaton kaya la.
So don't
Allow me a little bit.
Please go ahead.
Kwetente yafo.
Dangaje ko ni aje Yaya Jammeh ka opposition mudaki imantora.
I believe if you see Yaya Jammeh arresting members of the opposition and making them to suffer that way, it's because he believes that is necessary to keep him in power. Because someone who does not have sympathy for fellow human beings, making families to cry, they're wasting lives. I see that such a person, his staying in power is worth doing anything.
Including making your husband disappear.
Yes.
Did you eventually give birth?
Yes.
And can you tell us about the child that you had?
I gave birth eventually. But after I gave birth, but all the while I did not believe that
my husband was dead.
No, it's not clear.
Because I didn't see any reason why they should kill him. But after I gave birth, the child grew up until at a point
5 years.
When the child went up to the age of 5 years.
Are you able to tell us the child's name and what sex they were? It's up to you if you want to tell us.
So, male child.
Abdusalam Kanyi.
Abdusalam Kanyi.
Was this your only child?
My first child died.
So he was your only child after that?
Yes.
Okay, please go on and tell us.
When he was 5 years old, he began to ask questions. Sometimes when we are chatting, he would ask me, "Where is my father?" And I will tell him that your father has traveled. One day, he said to me, "But when people's fathers traveled, they usually call them." He said to me, "But my father has never called me." I said to him, "He is going to call you, because where he is, there is no telephone." The child's issue is what makes me feel so bad. To talk to him at that time. And when he tells me this, it used to disturb me a lot. And each time he says that such a statement, I used to cry. We were in that situation. When he goes out, sometimes he would hear people discussing the matter. One day he was going to our main compound with my younger sister, who said they went until after a long distance, and then he stopped her. And he said to her, "I want to ask you about my father."
Kay kamo dolu konte fama am Kanyi balti, but dolu kon fama am $1.
He said, I hear that some people say that my father's name is Kanyiba, but others say it's Wando.
Kaka ko fo jumala mo famati.
And then he said to her, who really is my father?
Kaka ko hey ke batandire fama bije.
And she said to him, no, they are just disturbing you. Your father is there.
Konyangala mind firin.
And she said to me, I did that just to free up his mind. And then she said to me, but this child's mind is constantly on the father, and I do not know where he gets this information from. And then she asked him, why do you constantly keep asking after your father? And he told her that each time I go out to play, sometimes the kids tell me that you have not been christened, your father is not there. And he said to me, that is why I am always asking you. I told him, no, they are just disturbing you. Your father has traveled, but they don't know. We were in that situation until I enrolled him at school. And he was going to school.
Grade 5 women.
When he was at the 5th grade, one day as he came home from school, he felt guilty looking. I asked him, what's the matter, Abdul Salam? He said that he was thinking about the people who were in mile 2, whether they usually have any food to eat. I asked him, what brought your mind to that? He said, today I went to my uncle and I found a newspaper, the Foroya newspaper. He said to me, I read that newspaper and I saw my father's name on it. He said, but they say that he is in mile 2. And as he was saying that to me, he began to cry. And that disturbed me eventually a lot.
And at that point, how old was he?
Wotembo atedindungi mbesanji jelu.
Wotembo was 10 years.
At the time, he was 10 years.
So it had been 10 years since Kanyi had been arrested from your house and had completely disappeared from the face of the earth, and you had not seen him or heard from him.
Wotembo yatara. Sanji tango timmata. Kabirin ye Kanyi muta ka yemandi imamui imaje.
Yes.
You did not know where he was?
Imalum Frank abedamentu.
Malo, honey.
I didn't know.
Did you know if he was alive or if he was dead?
Silang ite along Wotembo yalo ne fabe balurina bang fa afatale.
Kumo dobi jankaje lakate baluring.
Sometimes I think that he was not alive anymore. Sometimes also I think and I cannot perceive one reason why they would kill him. That used to give me a lot of thinking. But again, when I think about it, and I think about this one Gambia, that it is not possible that your relative would be disappeared for 10 years and you are looking for that person and yet unable to find him. And you cannot see someone that you can trust who will tell you that they have seen him. Sometimes that too gives me two minds.
How did you cope? I mean, not knowing either way whether he was alive, he was dead, and where he was.
Saying Wotembo ite ibe kulu takanyadile katwotumu kulbe flaflari fabe baluring fate baluring wo mukuliti me yalonko akamo sondo modu nyoto iye utanyadile
otumo kay ngatal doron ni kadual kay kasada bondai.
We just took it in good faith, praying for him and offering charity for him. Well, that if, for instance, he was alive, may God help us so that he will appear.
And did you receive any further information after all of these years concerning his whereabouts?
Foinata kibar sotole nyin sangolu men beta metateng inata kibar sotole ka along ala kol betembe da jumalto.
When the issue became very clear to me was when there was a change of government. But before the change of the government,
Yaya Jammeh once pardoned some people, saying that he is going to pardon some people. That day, his younger brother went to Mile 2 just to go and find out. But they looked in every nook and cranny in the whole prison. They cannot find him anywhere. After that, we didn't have or know anything about him again.
So what happened after the change of government?
After the change of government, we were asked to go to Banjul to go there and give statements. Those who have disappeared relatives.
Where were you asked to go and give a statement?
I heard it over the radio.
So was this a common thing then, that a lot of people had relatives who had disappeared and that's why they were calling you to come and give a statement?
Yes.
Tell us what happened after you were called to give a statement.
We went there. I went there with the younger brother. When we got there, we gave our statement. And then they asked us to go home. Then that they were going to visit all the places that the government detention centers, all of them. Because there were many places where people were detained. But that they will inspect all the centers, detention centers, and whatever came out of it, we will inform you. After they concluded their investigations, then they informed us that they did not see Kanyi. That was when we believed eventually that he had died.
And before this search that was made for him in the new government, were you able to conduct such a thorough search when Yaya Jammeh was actually in power? Was that possible?
Fodung nyil nata nyin kisikisiro menke janio bekela Yaya Jammeh bamban sakunda tu momenna. Fatal al fanali kisikisiro kale al fayen bampuruka kalamolo. In many ways, we did that in many ways.
From Mile 2?
From Mile 2. Because there was a day, somebody called us saying that he saw Kanyi at Makati. The information he gave to my father was that he saw Kanyi with others who were going to cut down some trees. Then they called my father.
When he called him, he informed him. Then he proceeded there and spent the night there. When daybreak came, at the time we had a relative who was working at Makati. When he got there, that person hosted him. And then he said to that host, I had some information about Kanyi here. And that host said to him, well, it could be, but I do not believe that he is here. And then he said to the host, the one that informed me told me that he was here. Then that was when the host said to him, well, let's spend the night until tomorrow. When they got up in the morning, then he accompanied him to the station. He said when they got there, they found that the people who were there were just been brought out to be taken to the bush. When they arrived and inquired, their superior said to them that he is not here. And he said to them, if you don't believe, because the people that are here, all of them are the ones that I have just brought out. And if you wish, I could take you inside so that you could inspect all the cells. He said they did all of that, but did not find him.
What kind of,
then they returned home.
What kind of station was that?
Station Jumala Maunya. Makati. Police lombam for Kasola.
At the prisons.
Was it a police station or was it the prison?
Prison.
Which prison was that?
Kasojuma Lamuti. Kasojuma.
Janjambure prison.
In terms of the authorities, either the police or the NIA actually investigating your husband's case, were they able to do this whilst Yaya Jammeh was in power?
Bring ya jamme be mansala bijang police bang anim bunda ko tangol fo utembo wole nyin kisikisir façon keno le bang
they couldn't do it because at that time everyone was scared because some of these wicked things that are happened within their midst. Sometimes you would have good ones amongst them. But if you want to bring it out, to reveal how somebody was treated, you may suffer the same consequence. And that used to scare a lot of people. Even if your relative disappears and you inquire, you would not even have anyone to discuss the issue with. Because any department that we have any faith in, when we knocked on that door, they never have any power.
Did you actually report this matter to the police or to the NIA formally?
Folung alna nene wultele kanyin kumo kibaro futandi police wala ka fo NIA ul family.
When this matter went to court, I know that it got to all these offices.
Yes, indeed. The authorities got to know after the matter went to court, but you're saying that you don't believe any effective investigation was conducted at that point.
Nyala ko ya fanya min waira ko futata kiti bundala woto etelbe bola kamale aybe bola kala male bari bitum wala nyinti ko kisi sahari mankeno tembo ala kola.
That was not done.
And once the new government came in place, you said a thorough investigation was conducted, everywhere was searched, all the detention centers in this country, and they couldn't find him, and you finally came to the conclusion that your husband was dead.
Amonta birim mansakunda falinta nyim mansakunda kuto sita utumole ko ya kumandi nyamin altata aliyalla kumakangol di iteli yekisikisiroke itata dinkiralu bejube ka molu mutadamen nuto ka molu sindi damen nuto aliyolu yolu bejibe imaje utumo wokolalom alnata la ko wel nyin asekeno nyile ketala.
Yes.
And how many years was that after his disappearance?
Nata kanyan sanji jelle makabiri ya matalum fo atel okumobe ko ilal matumome.
It's up to 13 years.
13 years.
Sanji tanin saba.
You were waiting and you couldn't know either way whether he was alive or he was dead.
Albe baturola andung amanko ya alma fabe balurin fate balurin.
Yes.
That's a very long time.
Muwati jambaleti.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you felt on that day?
Saying volumen kumo ko italma ayete kenyadile.
It disturbed me a lot. Because if your husband had gotten sick under your watch, death is painful either way. But there are some types of death which are very, very hard to take. To make someone forget about that, and also to calm someone's mind on that issue, is very difficult. There was a day which was a very difficult day for me. Sometimes when I'm sad,
I will sometimes I will think that maybe he is not dead, he's there.
Because I never see anyone who will stand up and declare that we have killed him. And also, I did not see what he has done which will warrant him being killed. I have seen people who have killed others, but they are in prison and not killed. And he has not done such things.
And of course, you never saw his dead body.
We never saw it.
And even though you came to the conclusion that he was dead, you still don't know either way, do you?
Honey, bring al tata al ilata la ko silang afatale. Barbitung silati jeme ya ko indi malew.
Honey.
No.
So as you sit here right now, you are still in a state of limbo.
Amunta silang ebe sirin jandameng hanimbi itebe ku koy balole kono.
Yes, I'm in limbo.
You have no closure.
Hanimbi dal kutije meye kolu dandula itandila.
I don't know it.
Was there any particular thing that you and your family did after you came to the conclusion that it was most likely that he was dead?
Say bring atel nata nyi mutako tonya woto nyi mfatale ini itenin dimbaya nimbadi ngulu focus on ta aliye menke bang.
Okay.
Yes. When it became clear to us, we converged and discussed, and we said since it's a human being, he died and we did not know when he died, and we do not also know his killers, and we don't also know where he's been buried. Despite all that, those of us who are here, let's do our utmost best. And what Islam dictates, since if he had died under our watch, we would have washed the body and pray over it, and pray for him. But God did not wish that for us. So that being the case, wherever he is, if we pray for him, we believe that it will get to him. So the relatives came together. We prayed for him, and we prayed for him as well. And then we dispersed.
How did you feel after that ceremony?
Bilu bengo butala aliyo dualu ketumo menali janjanta. Ete yo ta nyadile silanga yeke nyadile.
It disturbed me a lot. On that prayer day, when GRTS came there, and they were conducting interviews, his son got to hear the discussions. He cried there a lot that day. And that disturbed the entire family.
We're really sorry that you had to go through this very difficult experience. And it is clearly established that the NIA are responsible for your husband's enforced disappearance.
Andung akoita mobe mako NIA ulu itelela lomkunto duno munyinti menketa ike mala ye mauti.
Because they came to your house, arrested him, and he was in their custody.
Katu itelena ta Allah suokono itelea muta ina tata nyola bebulu.
Yes.
And it was after that you did not see him for 13 years.
Andum biro be tambita wokola al manaje fo sanji tang anin saba alimanku mo yala ko fana.
I would say up to date.
Fok msafo no fam fokana bula bila.
But who do you hold ultimately responsible for your husband's disappearance?
Itebe jumale chodi la ko woto nyinom kuolo kumoti me yenke mayemande.
I will point to Yaya Jammeh. All these wicked deeds that happened, those that performed them, all of them were under him. So therefore, I will point my finger at him. I will say that he killed my husband.
And do you believe that the authorities, especially the NIA, who yielded so much power and authority in our society, would have been able to do those things without the backing of Yaya Jammeh?
Atu utumo NIA olu sembo membela anika kulu ke nyaming ya mira wo tembo du yitel bo keno la ning ayatara Yaya Jammeh mantara ikoma te ma sembo dila ya mira bo keno la.
They wouldn't be able to do it.
Mike.
My apologies. We've already heard about some of the impact that this whole experience has had on you, your personal impact as well as that of your son and family. Is there any other impact, perhaps financial or economic, that this has had on you without a husband and your child without a father, having to take care of him all these years on your own?
Ngalone nying menketeng ay batamen sabu ma ay batamen sabu dinguma ay batamen sabu alla dimbaya luma bar bitungul be kola fo bata do bi jele katu ite clean be je ka dindingu nyin topoto faye men fo kata be tembede amen to bi ka loye fo bitung kudo bi jele me yalon ko asike bata da doti men late kam
bata ko men latan daga ngasiatal.
The suffering I endured is a lot.
The first thing is just to come and pick up your husband and take him away in your presence. And he disappears just like that. That alone is a very serious problem for a human being. At my present level, just always thinking has even made me somebody who has a chest problem. My chest is never well these days. Because people's way of thinking are different. Somebody can think and just forget it and keep it in mind. That's something that really disturbs a human being. It has even brought unhealthiness on my side. And it has brought many other problems within the family. Because Kanyi's arrest, that has even caused his father's death. Because a lot of thinking is what killed his father. The younger brother who was following him also died the same way. And at this present moment, his mother also is not well. And the same trouble gave my father the same problem. He is not well. He is also suffering from high blood. The problems that he caused for the family is too much. Because the child that he left behind, he should have been responsible for everything that the child needs. But now, sometimes when whenever he remembers his father, he will sit down and cry. But whenever that happens, I will try to cool him down. That is because of that, whatever he needs,
I used to try by all means, even if that is to cause me trouble, I try to ensure that he gets it. Just so that I free up his mind. Since they arrested Kanyiba in my presence, his brother, who is now late, I was there with him and Wandifa. He was there buying rice and also providing the fish money. But I was there for a couple of years. He left home and moved on to Brikama. When he transferred to Brikama, at the time Wandifa was not employed, I used to do the cooking. Sometimes when he has something also, he will assist. We were in that situation where Kanyiba was working at CCF, the credit union, that facility that is there. They took Wandifa there and employed him. When he was employed there, he used to provide the fish money, buying the rice. We were there until the child was now of the age of entering school. And I enrolled him to school. But for his school needs, I can say that all of them are on me. And his uncle, my younger brother, Lamin Kanyi. He used to help the child also a lot with school. And we are the two that help each other. And where the child is now is a long way away. Every day from Bonto to Brikama, giving fares and also lunch money is expensive. But I see to it that his future is better, is even more important than what is happening now. It's better for me to suffer today so that he can relax tomorrow. That is what I also see, that is my future also. That is why I persevere in all of the suffering. And I allowed him to go.
And thank you very much for that. We can see that you're a great mother. We thank you for your testimony and for the courage that you've had to actually relive this very difficult experience.
Mbe numbarala katu na jeko itamu dimba nyim malete yenyim batani nyim ko be taki obe nyonyanding ibe munyari ibe wakiliring ibe sairing uto dimba nyim male si olodu la tano uto mbe numbarala kotake ila olodu la kendo kan aniyo kato menke unya.
And we continue to pray that you will finally find closure.
And we continue la kadua fu alasina nyinko be sono yandisama.
And that you will find the answers that you're looking for through this Truth Commission.
Bitum be nyim fanan katala po fo isina kumolu kolu soto menu be kelela jabiroti tela kolu kono nyin tonya commission la karola.
As we continue to investigate on the area of enforced disappearances and other human rights violations.
Where we continue kan kisikisiro la karola molu la koto meni ya lonko yemanta anim fanan kukotem lu menu lata ulukan.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, we have come to the end of the witness's testimony. I hand her over to you for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Nyinkarla council kabe numbara la ya wakilo menta kala kumakang lujabi silang ay ko saundi commission la chairman bulu.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you, Madam Isatou Kanyi, for your testimony.
Chairman council numbara ayete Isatou Kanyi fana numbara ye wato menta ka song kana CDR la commission nyatilingola.
13 years of painful suffering.
Sanji tang anin saba batani mantoro kono.
It was very painful indeed.
Mukudimindim baleti.
We share your pain. We share your pain. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Bishop, you have the floor, please.
Commissioner Nyininkala mo lafte Nyininkala Bishop Odiko wale lafte Nyininkala.
Thank you, Chairman.
Akai Chairman Numbara.
Madam Isatou Kanyi.
Ako Madam Isatou Kanyi.
We are extremely sorry
Nyinketam fanali ni kuyate.
For the pain that you had to endure over the years. According to you, your husband was arrested in your presence by the NIA. Now, how do you feel when the government announced
that
your husband went by the back way?
That was the very day I believed that it can be that my husband is no longer alive. Because all the arrests that were taking place, it was Yaya Jammeh whose hand was in it. So if he is to stand in front of the whole world and say that he has not seen him, then you'll come to realize that it's because he has made him to disappear. He was just trying to take himself out of responsibility. Because people were talking about it a lot.
Were you able to take an action to the court since it was in your presence that he was arrested by the NIA, did you take that to the court?
For inata ko sambale kiti bundala wairi lume ba mutala kete fonyalale ya muta ya samba fo imana ko futandi kito bundala bang.
Futata kiti ya bundala.
It got to the court.
Senator Dabo la kakala lawyer tiji.
Senator Dabo was his lawyer.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Kinte. You have the floor.
Commissioner Kinte le lafte Nyininkala.
Isatou isha haketu nying ani kuya wata bag.
Our sympathies. This is very sad.
But mbe sadi alala.
Let's put everything back to God.
Kumbe Nyininkala diningu nying.
I want to ask you about the child.
You are trying a
lot for him in terms of his education from the time that he was born up till date. Don't you think he not seeing his father has contributed in retarding his education, or other complications are not retarding his education? He not seen his father, yes, has given him some problem. Because when he sees his companions with their fathers, he used to admire them, and sometimes he even tells me. And he will tell me, if my father were here, he would also do this and this. But on the side of his education, praise God, it has not retarded it in any way yet. We are trying small, albeit there is some difficulties. When prayer time comes, $1,000 or $1,500. His uncles will contribute money, sometimes $1,000 or $1,500, and he'll use that money to buy clothes for himself for the feast. But as for his sustenance, is for me.
2018.
That started in 2018.
That started then when the younger brother transferred and left me there with the kids. To take responsibility for the sustenance started for me then. My personal problem and also the personal needs of the child and his schooling. Whatever he needs there, that is always on me. I take it upon myself to suffer for the sake of his school so that he doesn't have any problems at school. Because when a child gets some kind of problems while going to school, it used to retard his education. And I do not want that. That is why I have taken it upon myself to suffer so that he can secure his future, which is most important. That is the way things are. What grade is he? He's in grade 8. Thank you so much.
His education not retarding, that's very, very encouraging. I hope he continues to progress.
Ala karangola nasi balia ha omu kunyimati andumbe duala fosi continue ala karang kana nasi.
If there are no further questions, Madam Kanyi, if you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to do so now.
Wari nyinin kardoti je kotake sayin ite fanan ibela kacha kumfala kuma kangulu menula ifanan si continue yo fu commission e.
Ante kay be Gambian be tentula be jaira.
For me, I thank all Gambians. I hail all of them.
Ta Gambia ya bantala.
And outside of the Gambia,
momo bulo dun to no nyin chelo kono.
Anyone who took part in this struggle
okay mansakunda kurungo bayja
to remove this brute government,
I
want to thank all of you. I want to hail all of you. Because there is a day amongst days when I make a call in my house, I used to know how to make that communication. I was not brave enough to stand at my doorpost and make that call. Even in the family, nobody dares to stand there and call Kanye's name. So if God makes it possible that a day like today, we are seated here and someone is able to mention his name, that for us is something that we are grateful for and we are thankful for. And also, my coming here today, I am happy today. It's very hard to sit here. Nobody prays for such. It's painful to come here and sit here today. But why do I say that I'm happy? Since last year, when the TRC started, I think a few months, his name started to be mentioned. My name started to be mentioned, rather, and many things were said. Until I came here and I registered. But people investigated my matter. And they realized that I did not accept to come here and testify. Because since the change of government, the issues or the matter of my husband's case became very clear to me. I remarried. When I remarried, and then I thought it not necessary for me to come here again and talk about my husband's matter. But after getting married, one day, the victim center, the chairman that is there, Sheriff Kujera, he called me and asked if we have not gone to the TRRC. That was the day that Sana Sabale testified here. I told him, no, I have not gone there. He said, but you should go there and register. I told him, I thought that by registering at the center, it wouldn't be necessary for me to go there also and register. He said, no, because if you don't go there, it will be difficult for them to call you.
Okay, problem to you.
I said, then, okay, no problem. The following day, I called Wandifa. I suggested to him that we came to this TRC and register. He said, yes, we can go. I said, okay, and then he asked me, what time do you want us to go? I told him I had no problem, whatever time he chose. Then he said, even tomorrow we can go there. That was when we came here. We registered here for Kanyiba's issue. But after that, I had many things been said that I have come here and registered here, but then I returned again and said that it was not necessary for me to testify here, since I am now remarried. That Kanyiba's issue is no longer important for me. People are cursing me from here until outside of this place. Many things, all kinds of things are said against me. When people are brewing attire, it is my matter that they are discussing. Some are on their way to the market. And when they return, they will tell us, today we have found people who were insulting you. Until in the end, even to go out,
go to gatherings and even funerals, I find it very difficult. Because I feel embarrassed and I feel also very sad. Because I think of the hardship I went through and the pain I suffered. And come and reach a certain time, people get up and start insulting me. That's something very painful for me. And it is something very hard for me. But anybody who caused that also, well, I am handing over their issues to the Almighty Allah. Because I haven't seen anything in this world which is better for me than Kanyiba. We didn't quarrel. We didn't have anything like bad blood between us. It was because of Allah's judgment which separated us. And he's also my brother. And we have a child between us. And I think I will not have anything today which will be better than that for me. So his affair is worth for me anything. It's worth anything for me. But the insults that were heaped on me is very painful. But I hand everything to Allah. I'm appealing to everybody. Any person that has gone through this kind of pain, just try and bear. Come and seek for the truth for tomorrow, so that this thing will not reoccur in this country again. So if that's not the case, something else might happen which is even worse than this. All what was said about me, it was too much. In fact, it looks like I am the only person who has gone through this. That in fact went to the level, it nearly, it nearly destroyed my way of thinking.
But alhamdulillah,
But I thank Allah so that because today I am here, I came here today. I think the establishment of TRRC is created by a law. We have to respect that law. Because if I come and register here, and they have not yet called me, I cannot force myself to come and talk here. It cannot be. We are behind a law. But when the day reached today, you have come here to answer to the call. So here I am, starting from the chairman to all other commissioners and all people here. My best thanks to all of you, and I hail you all. Because sitting here today has really cleansed me. It has taken me out of slavery. It has taken me out of insults. So my thanks to Allah. My thanks to the government too. Thank you all.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Kanyi.
Madam Kanyi.
You're a very good citizen who's come to help this commission fulfill a key mandate of our work.
Itemu bankudin kende baleti mennata ka kolu timmandi yeddo ko duno mendin tolu fanalula pour ka do ko tamandi ka ajikoma fa.
The National Assembly requires us under the act establishing the TRRC.
Député bungula loi we nyine kanin hani fo nyin TRRC lota
that one of the objectives of the commission
ko commission mel lota ten ala lotan kan lu kilimbije
in section 13C B sorry
wala loi la bunda tang anin sabala sappa fulanjango
that we establish and make known the fate or whereabouts of disappeared victims.
Prunsa kata nga nyim banke ka londi fana molu men ya lonko iye manta mune ketela anin ila ko labanta nyame prunsa along nga banke nga londi.
You have helped us tremendously in fulfilling that objective.
Ite yentolu makoy bakele pour ka lodu la timandi.
We thank you very much indeed for your testimony.
We
are going to take a 1-hour lunch break and resume our proceedings at 2:30.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.